For example, you are traveling to England for the first time. You are touring a cathedral, and suddenly, it seems as if you have been in that very spot before. Or maybe you are having dinner with a group of friends, discussing some current political topic, and you have the feeling that you've already experienced this very thing. Same friends, same dinner, same topic. Welcome to the world of déjà vu. The term déjà vu is the feeling that one has lived through the present situation before. Most of us describe it as an overwhelming feeling, that the moment being experienced has already happened before, even though you know it probably hasn't. It's a common phenomenon, with as much as 70% of the population having experienced some form of déjà vu. A higher number of incidents occurs in people 15 to 25 years old than in any other age group. What causes déjà vu? We can get some clues from groups of people who report more déjà vu than most. One of these groups contains people who have a condition called temporal lobe epilepsy. Epilepsy causes brain cells to send out of control electrical signals that affect all the brain cells around them, and sometimes even all the cells in the whole brain. These signals can move through cells in the brain like dominoes, each one knocking over the ones that it is next to. This is called a seizure and can result in people with epilepsy briefly losing control of their thoughts or their movements. In people with temporal lobe epilepsy, we know that seizures start in the temporal lobe. This is a part of the brain just inside from the top of your ears, and it is important for making and remembering memories. Experiments has led the scientists suggesting that déjà vu is a memory phenomena, and this continues to be the most generally accepted explanation. Much like a word can be on the tip of your tongue, a déjà vu experience could be a memory at the tip of your mind there, but not quite accessible when we encounter a situation that is similar to an actual memory, but we can't fully recall that memory. Our brain recognizes the similarities between our current experience and one in the past. We are left with a feeling of familiarity that we can't quite place. Well, there are many other theories that attempt to explain why our memories might malfunction in this way. Beyond this pretty general explanation, some say it's like our brain short-circuiting, leading to long versus short-term memories, that new incoming information goes straight to long-term memory, instead of making a stop in the short-term memory bank. Interestingly, the areas of the brain involved in memory like the hippocampus were not triggered, as you would expect if the feeling was linked to, for example, a false memory. Instead, the researchers found the active areas of the brain were those involved in decision-making. They interpret this result to mean that déjà vu could instead be a result of our brains being involved in conflict resolution. In other words, our brain could be checking through our memories, looking for conflicts between what we think we've experienced versus what actually happened to us. When your brain is firing on all cylinders in a familiar environment, and in a routine that it often repeats, it's easy to use a sense of familiarity for what you're seeing as a guide, and scan back through your memory until you can recall the origin of the memory. But when your brain is tired, stressed or anxious, or surrounded by the unfamiliar event, it might struggle to scan through everything that it's been exposed to well enough to perform this conflict resolution. Instead, you start having intense feelings of familiarity, brought on by things that are evocative of what you've experienced before. This could be a particular configuration of cups or books on a table, a street that looks a certain way with a traffic light in a certain position, without being able to pin down why it feels so familiar. The brain will always go for the easy way out. It just decides that it's clearly been here before, and done this before, and is happy enough with that explanation. So it doesn't bother to investigate any further. It was tired. After all, the split perception theory suggests that déjà vu is when you see something two different times and just weren't paying attention properly the first time. Apparently, the more distracted you are, the more likely you are to experience déjà vu. If you're distracted by something else, and don't take in all the available information around you, your perception might be split into two parts rather than one. Essentially, your brain recalls the perception even if you didn't. This can slightly confuse your hippocampus, the part of your brain important for memory processing and navigation, and lead to that sudden and eerie feeling that you've seen it. Yes, you heard right. However unlikely that might sound, sometimes when you have déjà vu, it might not actually be déjà vu at all. The feeling of familiarity could be happening because you've actually had the same experience in the past, but simply don't remember it. Similar layouts of places can lead to the feeling, even if the two places look nothing alike. That's why the Sims experiment from earlier actually worked, or maybe you just have a dominant eye. Most people have one, and apparently this could also contribute to feelings of déjà vu. If the stronger eye sends information to the subconscious, before both eyes focus and register the input as a conscious experience, your brain sends a message to tell you that you've seen this before, and you have. But it was just a nanosecond ago. But then again, that wouldn't explain the more versatile forms of déjà vu, where it's less about sight and more about experience. A link that potentially ties all this together is consciousness. Déjà vu seems to be strongly associated with memory. So maybe it serves a similar purpose. If it is caused by an unrecalled buried memory, then is it also possible that an accompanying sense of what will happen in the future could come from that same buried memory? Some scientists argue that déjà vu is certainly related to false memory in the sense that it is a memory dissociation kind of effect. It dissociates reality from your memory. You could also briefly expose someone to an object or picture. For example, a place, a painting, so on. And then let them go back and take it in more slowly, creating an actual memory that they may not be able to pin down. Researchers have had a lot of success with this type of induction, showing participants words, names, or faces for a split second, and then inducing the feeling of déjà vu by showing people the same thing for a longer amount of time, just moments later. But these are quite artificial, and maybe don't quite match the spontaneous sensation that comes with déjà vu in real life. Well, maybe it's not so far-fetched. Although this particular explanation is not of the psychic kind, a new perspective on memory is fast getting traction, and it proposes that memory's adaptive purpose is not so much to allow us to consciously remember our past, but instead serves to help us navigate the future. If you think about it, memory has the potential to help us navigate our futures in many ways, from our use of imagination and ability to be creative, or just by allowing us to know what to do next, or how to react in situations. They say practice makes perfect, so maybe memories are just training your brain for the future. In fact, you've already watched this video before.